What up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, so I think the last video I posted, the Malibu video, I think's what it was. The video before that, we started working on fabbing up the hot side for the Mustang, aka the Bloodstang. I had a week where I was down with COVID. I mean, I didn't really do much. The last two videos I posted those while I was sick. And I was working on the Mustang like a couple days prior to getting sick with COVID. Obviously, summer's pretty much here. Sports and house stuff and chores and all that stuff kind of come into play. And, you know, I'm lucky if I get down to the garage for an hour every now and then. So basically, every chance I get that I can come down here and bust out an hour, I usually don't pick up the camera. And I should. I need to be so much better at that. I'm really sorry. I have to get in a habit of taking the camera with me everywhere I go and just carrying it with me, make sure the battery's charged. Like I just need to get in a habit of that, because you never know what's going to come up and it might be good for, you know, content. I have been working on the Mustang. It's actually coming along. It's pretty far along at this point, and it already had the motor in it. You know, all the wiring's inside the car, all the fuel systems inside the car. So really all I had to do was fab up that hot side, which you saw me do. Since then, I've put the wastegate provisions on the hot side for the turbo kit. That wasn't obviously anything worth videoing, and the turbo was hung. We got the exhaust done on it. So the only thing left I had to do was cold side piping, all the intercooler piping and stuff. I'll go ahead and show you what I got. I will pull the front end off of it so you can kind of see where I'm headed with all this. All the fab work's not done, so I'll still do some more videos of fab work and stuff. But yeah, here it is. So, little rundown on the car. For those of you that don't know, this was my brother's car. We built this car for my brother last year. Had a 4.8 in it, S475, which is actually the S475 that's in the boost knuckle currently. This little VS S475. This is a great little turbo. And it works really good on this setup in this truck now. I'm super pumped with how that's turned out and how well it runs. But yeah, so all that S475 was in this before with a 4.8. My brother sold the motor, the turbo kit, and everything out of this car and just had it sitting as a roller. And this is the car that we traded our LS turbo Ford Ranger that I built for the roller. I know that kind of sounds insane, trading a completely built turbo LS anything for a shell. Seems a little crazy, but you know, I was pretty invested with time and stuff in this car, and I didn't want to see it go to someone else and then it, you know, get ruined or whatever. I mean, most Ford guys will say it's already ruined. But now this car currently has an LSA 6.2 stock bottom end, say out of like a CTSV Cadillac. This motor was in the boost knuckle previously, but we broke a piston in it. I pulled it out, and that's when the 4.8 went in the truck. And then the 4.8 came out. That's going on another project, and now there's a 5.3 in the truck. Musical LS motors here. But yeah, stock bottom end, LSA. It does have RPC, Racing Power Company. These are cylinder heads from their sister company, XS Flow. They wanted me to try out a set of these rectangle port cylinder heads. I went through and kind of did some of my stuff to them, put, you know, valves and different valve guides and changed some stuff up, did the valve job that I wanted on it. So we're going to try these out and see how these work. I'm pretty sure I didn't CC them, and I probably should have, but I was getting pretty antsy to get them on the motor and get this thing back together. Was it pack 660s in it, and then all stainless steel hardware or stainless steel valves and stuff in it from Liberty Performance out on the East Coast. A downfall that I'm thinking I'll have with these is I'm pretty sure the combustion chambers much larger in these than the stock heads were, and the stock heads I had on this motor were actually milled like 25 thousandths. So this motor is going to be substantially probably lower compression than I had before. Upside to this motor being in this car, it allowed me to build a much nicer turbo kit with you know, the down and forward eBay 1 7/8 headers that everybody uses. I'm hoping that with a little bit better turbo kit on this motor, it'll definitely help it perform better, breathe better. We are on the same turbo. This is a VS 88 millimeter. This is actually the old S488, but I did buy the new front cover whenever I was deciding to put it in this car, because the old front cover I just thought kind of looked cheesy, and you know, since it was all going to be a new setup and stuff, I wanted to change it and make it look a lot nicer. 6.2 LSA, aftermarket heads, ARP studs. The camshaft in it is a camshaft that comes from a company called Engine Tech. They're out of Texas. They're one of my suppliers at work that I use for a lot of things, bearings, pistons, gaskets, all that stuff. But they actually have a performance line of camshafts. I heard through the grapevine, so-and-so told me Howard's actually grinds the cams for them, but this is a 625 lift. It's a reverse split, which there's a lot of controversy on the whole reverse split cam, that they don't work like people say they do. But I mainly did it because I wanted to run a T4 turbo, and everybody wants to run T6s. I opted for a T4. This is a T4 125 exhaust housing. But in doing so with the small T4, they say the reverse split cam will help with back pressure. I mean, it's all up in the air. Without monitoring it and checking, who's to say whether it does or doesn't. But yeah, it's 234, 232 reverse split, and I believe it's a 115 LSA, like +3 or something. On my MRE built hot side, I try to keep the gates, you know, where they're, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what I'm trying to say. But basically, airflow is going to be good. Gates should work really good. 4-inch aluminum exhaust. All things that if you don't know, you can go back and watch some of the old videos. Check those out. I'll put a little thing up here for the old Bloodstain videos. Just an eBay Civic radiator I had laying around. We did put dual Summit 50 mil blow-off valves on it. Haven't seen anybody use those yet, so I figured I'd give them a shot. And you know, I figured with two it just kind of looks better, and I want to try and give that turbo every chance at living a long life. So if one blow-off valve wasn't enough, then two should do it. Edelbrock Pro Flow intake. I don't know, I like the Pro Flow intakes better than the Holley high rams. I just like the angle of the throttle body a lot better, and they're a little less bulky in my opinion. Most everything on it's VS, the turbo, the gates, the intercooler, with the exception of the blow-off valves. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. I still got to pull the bumper off and make a bracket for the intercooler. Ideally, you would have made the bracket for the intercooler and made the intercooler stationary first before you built all the charge piping. I didn't do that. Hindsight's 20/20. But I'm gonna rip this bumper off real quick, kind of show you the piping underneath there, and walk you through a couple other things, what I plan on doing. And then, yeah, basically, and I don't even know what this video is about. This video is basically just an update on the Mustang and to show you the progress that we're making. And then we're gonna continue on doing more fab work, which I will try and video. I know I suck at it. I mean, there could be worse YouTube channels you could watch. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe mine's the worst. I don't know. If mine is the worst YouTube channel you watch, I greatly appreciate it. I don't normally have a sense of humor. I'm kind of a dry personality. But sometimes I have my moments where I think I can be kind of funny. But most people might not agree. But yeah, let's pull this bumper off and I'll stop talking, or actually no, I'm not gonna stop talking. You just get to watch. Okay, get on there. Why is that not coming out of there? All right, so it's kind of how it looks without the bumper and stuff on it. Pretty cool looking, honestly, I think, anyways. So our next step is to build some kind of mount for the intercooler to connect to the chassis here. Before, you can see this little tab here. This was actually on the bottom and then on the like downside. So basically this would have been flipped and flipped. And with where this turbo was going to sit with the inlets on top, there I wasn't going to be able to make that bend very easily, so I flipped it the other way, and seemed like it worked out a little better that way. But yeah, so we need to get a bracket made to hang the turbo off of. It looks kind of crooked there. It didn't look crooked in the bumper. We'll have to get we'll have to get that figured out, because I don't want it to be crooked. It'll drive me bonkers. But we'll get that made. Gonna get a fan mounted, so we need to add some tabs to this little bracket I made. I didn't show you this. So I made this little bracket or frame here that holds this Honda radiator. It seems a little flimsy now, but once I add the bracket on the front of the intercooler, then I'll add a little tab off of it or two to hold that in place. And then plus, once we put radiator hoses on it, it'll definitely be a little more sturdy. One thing I am gonna do, and I haven't done it yet, this intercooler is 3 in and 3 out, but it's 4 inches wide, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna cut this 3-inch here because I use 3.5 on the cold side of it, and then I feed it with 3-inch. I'm gonna cut this outlet off, open that up, and then I'm just gonna put a 3.5-inch piece of aluminum on there. That way I don't have like a weird restriction there. I would rather it come in and then flow right out of it and not like, I don't know, I just feel like the 3.5 is pointless if the outlet out of the intercooler is 3-inch. And I personally think 3-inch intercooler piping going to a 92 mil throttle body looks dorky. Doesn't look very race car like. All my aluminum I use here, which this was a spare piece I had laying around, that's why that one's all polished. All this aluminum I get from High Performance. They're out of like the Springfield, Missouri area. Dan Seitz or Saints or something like that is his name. He's a hot rod drag weaker. I get all my stainless, all my aluminum and stuff from him. That's where all this stainless and stuff comes from. But yeah, so we need to get that made. And then I gotta get it jacked up, get the torque converter bolted in. The torque converter is a custom spec Circle D converter from my buddy Dan over there, hashtag DanSpec. It's got a built Turbo 400 in it. I know nothing about this Turbo 400. My brother bought this whenever he had it and had it put in there. I don't know who built it. I don't know where it came from. I know it's got an Ultra Bell on it, so it's much better than the one that's in the boost knuckle that doesn't have an Ultra Bell. But yeah, needless to say, we just got a little bit more fab work to do. Some plumbing for the cooling system. We got a little bit of plumbing for the fuel rails to do, from the rails to the regulator. I don't have a regulator for it currently. I had one, but I gave it away, and now I need one. Hopefully we'll have this thing ready to fire up in the next week or so. We can do a first startup. This is not a street car, so I can't really go out and street drive it. I mean, I guess I probably could, but I shouldn't. Maybe I'll take it down to Mexico. Wink, wink. But my plan is to actually just, once we get it up and running, I'm gonna throw a tune-up in it from the boost knuckle back when all this was in that truck. Should be relatively close to what we need, and we'll start there, and then we'll probably take it and put it on the rollers and see if we can make a couple, 2 or 3 pulls on it, some low boost stuff. Because I am gonna take it out and test it on the wastegate. I think these wastegates currently have like a 7-pound spring in it. I'm probably gonna make my first, I don't know, 3 or 4 passes just on the gate, and just shake the car down, make sure nothing's gonna fall off of it that I touched. Try and dial in the 60 foot a little bit and just see what it'll do on the wastegate. If I remember right, this motor in the BK, I don't think we ever had it below 10 pounds before. But basically this thing made like 700 horse on like 10 pounds. So I mean, it probably make, I don't know, we'll say 650 horse or something on 7 pounds, 8 pounds. This car is pretty light. I thought about making this kind of like a no time grudge car. I hate that personally when people do that stuff on YouTube, but it's kind of funny because I'm sure it aggravates the hell out of everyone because everybody wants to see times. But I mean, let's be honest. I got a Mustang with a cage and an LS and a turbo. I mean, we're not setting the world on fire here, and we're probably not going to run any times that's any faster than anyone else. It's probably going to be slower than most other turbo LS Mustangs. So just take it for what it is. And there's just a secret factor that you get with not telling people your times. But yeah, like I said, we're just slowly chipping away at it. It's starting to come along pretty good. I'm super pumped about it. This is probably I won't say it's the biggest project. This is probably the most race car thing I'll ever have. I mean, this thing is full out race car. It's got QA1 adjustable fronts, aerospace or Willwood drag brakes all the way around. It's got a strange 35 spline 9-inch, which you can't see, it's too dark. I mean, this thing is a unit. I mean, cage needs to get certed. I do want to change this bar right here because it's a pain in the ass to get into. But I mean, it's relatively got full interior. But yeah, I can't wait to drive this thing. I'm sorry I'm rambling. I'm sure this isn't going to be a super high traffic video, and I'm sure most people are probably going to watch the first like 2 minutes and just click out of it and decide they don't want to hear me ramble about a car that 9 million other people have. But it's my car. I'm building it in my shop. My own tools, my own welder. You know, like, you got to take some pride in that stuff. Sure, there's other people's cars who look way nicer than mine and all this stuff, and maybe they have, you know, maybe they built it themselves, maybe they didn't, maybe they paid somebody to do it. I didn't have to pay anybody to do this. I'll do all this on my own by myself. But yeah, anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Don't forget, go over, check out the mremotorsports.com merch. Go over and check out mremotorsports.com. Get you some merch. I haven't seen a lot of traffic on there lately. Actually, haven't seen a lot of traffic on there, period. I'm pretty sure like 90% of the merch that's been sold on my website, I've purchased for myself. I do have some hats left from this last batch of hats. They're pretty dope. But I've got like 7 or 8 of these left. If you want one, hit me up on my email, and we'll get one shipped out to you. But anyways, got somebody showing up. See what he wants. And yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget, comment, like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. I forgot you had that. Kona.